Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the UGA Sports Call-In Show. My name's Paul Meharry. This guy's Trent Smallwood. We are back at it again, hopefully up and running. We've been having some troubles with the stream working. Excuse me, I'm having trouble talking too. We are up and running. Awesome. Good deal. We are going. Trent, how's life, my friend?
It's going good. Going good. Another week after a victory is always good for the Georgia fan base. Just looking forward to another game.
Yeah, and another game this week with Arkansas State. Get excited, Trent.
I mean, Arkansas State. I would go out on a limb and say Arkansas State might be as good as Vanderbilt.
I've heard some people say that. You really believe that, huh?
Well, I think their offense is more dynamic. They got two good wide receivers. They got a good quarterback.
Okay.
And the offense they run, I mean, they're going to push it up and downfield. They're going to try to – the Georgia defense has to come prepared. The one thing that Arkansas State doesn't do is protect the quarterback. And
does Georgia get to the quarterback enough for you?
That I do Arkansas think State doesn't. I do think they get to the quarterback I this year. Now, we mentioned Tay Crowder's grade.
We did,
ago, and it was 40s.
Correct.
This team's right tackle has a pass blocking grade of 27 on the season.
You said what?
27.
Is that
according to our Pro Football Focus?
Is that the worst grade for a tackle in college football right now?
In 2 games, he's allowed 11 QB pressures.
Oh boy!
Georgia has a chance to take advantage right there.
How do you dial it up against him, though?
Well,
what do you? I mean,
and another key stat that I had today was the quarterback Bonner, I think his name is, for Arkansas State is 3 of 19 when under pressure. 3 for 19 on the season.
Really?
3 completions and 19 attempts.
So he's only completed 19 passes for the whole season.
No, he's completed.
I mean, he's only attempted 19 passes for the entire season. Is what you're telling me?
When under pressure.
So, okay, before we get totally into that game, which we will, and we'll take some of your calls too, 620-UGA Talk. Make sure to give us a call. Trent, let's go back to that Murray State game. I was on the field, so it was cool. I got to be down there with the man riding the bullseye, got to help him out and, take some photos, things like that. So that was pretty cool. I've never done that before, to be honest with you guys. So it was a little different for me. But for the most part, it was a good time. I think we have the screen capture up over now. I think we do. Trying to get it blown up for you guys. Yeah. So I brought over the passing game grades for Arkansas State's defensive backs. I was trying to save that for later, but we'll go back to the pictures for now, if I can. We might just leave it on there. But I was on the field, Trent. And I didn't get to see much of the game. I know that sounds kind of weird, man. It was very difficult to kind of watch the game. I don't know how these reporters or these photographers do it on the field. But what I did see was I saw a ton of freshmen. Out there. And I definitely saw this because I had to do it Sunday, like 85 players or 83 players total played in the game.
I believe so. I believe I had 83 players on the snap count.
Yeah.
So I played a bunch of guys, and it wasn't just 1 or 2 snaps here. It was.
Right.
They played a lot of snaps. You got George Pickens led the wide receivers in snaps by over 10 snaps. I think he had 37, if I'm not mistaken, and the next guy closest to him had 24. So
really,
George Pickens played a lot. Of course, you got Dominic Blaylock coming in there and making plays.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith, of course, and Nakobe Dean had a nice role on that defense when the dime when they brought the I don't even know what you call that package when you got Adam Anderson and Jermaine Johnson and Nolan Smith
that's the
and
pass
Trayvon
rush
Walker.
That's the pass rush special, man. That's the pass rush special. That's that 2-4-5 specialty.
But I saw that they did bring Nakobe Dean in the field on those situations.
They did.
But I thought he was too short to cover.
Really? Okay. Well, hey, guess what, guys? We've got actually a call right here talking about those freshmen. Let's go ahead and take that voicemail we got over the weekend.
Hey guys, it's Brandon in Athens. You know what's happening. I'm calling in this week with a little bit of a different spin on things. I've got a sponsor here that we're working with, and I'm calling in
He's
with
got a sponsor.
this week's Champions 3-piece wing plate special player of the game. You
Nice.
heard me, and you know who it is? It's the freshman. Big hits, big plays. These guys played great. Let me hear you guys talk about how you think they played and what you think this means going forward for the team. Thanks a lot. Support Champions. Cut the check.
He said, cut the check, Champies. Josh, my man Brandon, he's called in 3 weeks in a row. First week he had Popeyes. Last week he had Wendy's.
It's Champions.
And now it's Champies this week. But he said the big thing for him was the 3 freshmen. Nolan Smith, Trayvon, and Nakobe, right? Or no, did he go? Didn't he? No, Nolan Smith, Trayvon, and George Pickens is what he went. Big time guys. And the reason I brought that call up right now is because do you think those guys start, all 3 of them, and play major time against Notre Dame? I know we don't want to look forward too far in front of Arkansas State, but these guys are really doing some big stuff.
Look, I mean, I think it was evident they're trying to get George Pickens the ball. They're trying to get George Pickens on the field.
I think you have to, right?
I told you. I think it was our first stream we had to get. George Pickens is the best wide receiver for Georgia.
I believe that.
And as long as he has the playbook down, as long as he's willing to block, which he's shown he will block.
And Kirby Smart has talked about that as well.
And as long as he shows that, I believe he is a starter. Maybe not this game.
Okay.
But I do think by maybe not Notre Dame, but by game 5 or so, he's the starter at wide receiver.
I know Kirby said in the post-game press conference I was in there, he said, all you media guys are going to talk about his catch and things like that, but he had a pretty impressive block, and so did Zamir White, because everybody was asking about Zamir's touchdown. And he said the biggest thing for Zamir, honestly, when we go back and look at the tape, he knocked some guy right in his jaw.
Yep.
And he did. That play, he picked up the blitz right there.
And that's impressive
for
a freshman.
And it was on Jake Fromm's backside.
And I know he's not a freshman, but he's a freshman on the field.
He's a freshman, yeah. We got a couple guys coming in. We've got Kovacevic. Thanks for joining us. Said George Pickens is looking like one of those head case guys that either gets kicked off the team or flunks out. Just saying. I don't know about that. I do know, and thanks for bringing that up, I do know that Kirby Smart talked about it after the game that he has a lot of fire and intensity. We saw it on the field. We saw it with the personal foul. We saw it, But at the same time, Kirby Smart said, look, I don't want to take that away from him because that's one of his biggest traits. He has to be able to control it, is what he said.
Did people make that assumption about Noshawn Marino?
They did not.
Same situation.
I think what happened is I think a lot of people felt, especially in the state of Alabama, that he burned them. And now they're going to try to find a way to trash this kid any way he can.
Look.
Am I lying?
He got a personal foul. He got pushed out of bounds. He reacted. Freshmen react that way. Freshmen are going to make freshman mistake. The kid just got in college 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So he's going to make mistakes. He's going to learn from his mistakes. If he doesn't learn from mistakes, Kirby's going to make him learn from those mistakes.
Very true.
But one personal foul, I do not call a head case that's going to drop out. The kid can play football. Yes, he's going to play with an attitude. Sometimes you like the kids play with attitude. I mean, they're going. Those are the kids that are going to put it on the line for you. Yes, he's going to show energy. Yes, he's going to show maybe a few dance moves after each catch.
Right.
But, he's not a head case that's falling out. He's going to flunk out of college.
No, I think with George, I think it's finally somebody at the wide receiver position. Mecole had it last year, I think. It was a different type of kind of boost for the team that he had. But I can see George being one of those guys who leads by example, and he goes out there on the field, and he doesn't like you. You're the opponent. That's kind of his mindset. That's how he played at Hoover, Alabama, one of the highest classifications over there in Alabama. He played in big games there. That's kind of his mindset is, look, it's me versus you, man, and I'm going to come out on top 99% of the time. And when I beat you on a corner route, well, guess what? Guess what, bro? I'm going to talk a little junk. Same thing if I was out there. If I had his ability, man, I'd be getting personal fouls every game.
I mean, you see it in the NFL all the time.
I used to get personal fouls in middle school basketball, Trent.
I mean, some fans don't like it. I understand that, but playing with the attitude and the aggressiveness, and I mean, he's going to show emotions. He's an 18-year-old kid. He's going to show emotions. He's going to. I mean, we're talking about emotions after his first catch where he got up and celebrated. Not outside of the personal foul. This is his first catch, a diving catch down the sidelines. It's his first catch. I mean, of course, he's going to show some emotion.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't he?
We've got CMG Flink 1 coming in with the wide receiver question. He said, we need to make sure wide receiver position is handled. Next week is Notre Dame. We can't have any excuses. It'll be absolutely loud and electrifying game. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you hope for in these first 3 games. That's exactly what you hope for. You had a big question mark going in to this season at wide receiver. Against Vanderbilt and now against Murray State, you're seeing them progress. Now let's see if they can take that next step against Arkansas State. I don't think they're going to be outmanned against Notre Dame.
No.
I think they have. If you're telling me Notre Dame has better cornerback athletes than Georgia has wide receivers, I'd probably call you a liar because George Pickens, Demetrius Thomas, I know Kieras is hurt. Yeah, my names are all over the place.
Demetrius Thomas plays in the NFL, buddy.
Yeah, you got traded. But they've got athletes at wide receiver. I'm curious to see if they're going to air the ball out against Arkansas State. I imagine they will. They did a lot more air raiding against Murray State than they did Vanderbilt. So now we've seen in 2 games, Trent, one game where the running attack took over, and that was against Vanderbilt. And then one game where the passing attack took over against Murray State. I don't know how much more you can ask for 93 points in 2 games, no matter the competition, and get to see both sides of the ball.
I don't think it's the – I mean, are they going to be ready for the spotlight? George Pickens has been playing in the spotlight his whole life.
Yep.
I don't feel that's a problem. Demetrius Robertson's been playing in the spotlight his whole life. He's played his freshman year at California. He's played in some stadiums similar to this. It's not going to get to him. Maybe a guy like Matthew Landers, maybe it gets to him.
Where is he at, Trent?
He played a lot of snaps last game.
But I want to see it.
Well, you know.
Sorry to break you up right there.
The
totally
one
ruined
question
your train
mark was a lot of fans said George Pickens is playing behind Matthew Landers.
Correct.
Last week, and those 2 outside positions are interchangeable. Last week, there was a lot of George Pickens and Matthew Landers on the field together with Demetrius Robertson in the slot. And I believe that forces you – that's matchup. It's matchups.
I don't hate it.
You got 6'4" on each side or 6'5", and then you got Robertson in the slot. With that, you bring in Cook, who can stretch the field.
You saw Cager out there a little bit as well.
I mean, and Cager, he's been there. He's done that. Eli Wolf, been there, done that.
What a surprise. I'm glad you brought that up. What in the world, man? He didn't even catch that many passes at Tennessee, I think, in his whole career. And
I mean, he had a – you know, he made a lot of big catches for Miami. You know
oh, you're talking about Cager or Wolf?
Oh, I'm talking about Cager.
I was talking about Wolf.
No, Wolf, yeah. I mean, I think he caught 5 passes last year at Tennessee.
But, no, I think over his whole career he caught 5 passes.
And that might be a problem that's over there because he looked pretty dang good.
He did. And the fumble wasn't his fault. He got hit.
I don't know if we talked
ways.
about Cager, but I think Cager had 20-something receptions last year for Miami. All 20, whatever it was.
Yeah,
every reception went for either a first down or a touchdown.
Yep, that's crazy.
Nothing like a 5-yard pass on 1st and 10. Every single reception went for a first down or a touchdown. So, I mean, he's been there. He's played in it. I don't see any problem with the wide receiver.
We've got a couple questions coming in. Don says, where can we buy pink T-shirts for Saturday? I think he's referring to Coach Blake Anderson over at Arkansas State lost his wife to breast cancer. And I think that Georgia is going to put on some type of special thing for them. Definitely going to be emotional in there, just like CMG said. We've seen this before in the past with other coaches coming in from other schools and Georgia, putting up some type of donation board or something like that. I know that the pink jerseys, pink shirts are a thing. I don't know if it's like bring your own pink shirt or somebody's going to be selling them. I've never seen them selling them outside of the stadium before, so I don't think that's going to be it. But you can put some type of question on Twitter at me, and I will retweet it so we can try to get you the answer for that. Or at Trent. He's got a blue check. I don't have a blue check. I don't know how he got a blue check. Bionic says, I heard they're adding more seats for the Notre Dame game. Is that true? I did hear that.
I've heard that as well.
And I think what they want to do is add around 500 seats. George, on my mind, already answered it right there. But I think they want to be able to say this is the largest game that's ever played in Athens. And you can't really say that unless you add more seats because the stadium sells out all the time,
Listen,
right?
you're gonna need more. You're gonna need more seats simply for the 5-star.
I was going to say those 500 seats might just be for recruits.
I mean, you got a ton of kids coming.
Ton of kids.
I mean, everywhere. People keep saying, when are you gonna post a visitor list?
The Rivals 250?
Every kid that I ask is going to be at Georgia Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Besides Eric Gilbert.
Yeah, yeah. But that's funny that you bring that up because last week we were doing taking pictures of the recruits, and almost all of them were 2021 kids. They're all waiting for that Notre Dame game. It's like a kind of, what is it called when you get a special invite in Hollywood, like a premiere party or like in a private event?
Yep.
Something like that. There's some type of word for it. That's the game.
I wonder I would like to know this.
Okay. What do you want to know?
How many different states in recruits will be represented in Athens that night?
What's your over-under on it? Put me a Vegas
20.
line on it. Yeah, okay, so do I have to teach you about betting? You got to do like 0.5. So like 19 and a half?
19 and a half.
Okay, thank
Look,
you.
I don't bet.
I know, that's why I'm going to teach you.
19 and a half.
So you're saying the line is at 19 and a half for states. I'm going to go under. There's no way. 20 different states represented by kids? You really believe that?
Well, right off the bat, you got Utah, Arizona, Texas, and California coming. That's 4 big ones.
You're 25% of the way there, Trent.
Well, you got Georgia.
Oh, okay.
You got Florida.
Yeah.
There's 6.
I'm sure somebody from North Carolina will be there, South Carolina, Tennessee.
There's a 2021 kid from South Carolina coming.
Alabama.
You got D.C. coming. Sherman.
Yeah,
It's
racking up. It's racking up. There might. All right.
You got Ren from Louisiana coming.
Yeah, guys, put in the chat, comment if you think over 19 and a half states represented for the Notre Dame game in terms of recruits from that state or under. Put that in the chat, guys. I'm curious what you guys think about that. We've got a couple more questions here. Kovacevic, I hope I'm saying that right, my brother or my sister, says, is our depth on the D-line enough to create serious problems for some of our better opponents this year? I've got a hot take on this, Trent, but you can go first.
I think so. You have David Marshall and Malik Herring coming back last week, which was big for that defense line.
Yeah.
You still got Trayvon Walker playing a lot. You got Michael Barnett and Wyatt. Tyler Clark is playing great football right now. And then you got Jordan Davis. Who am I missing? You got Justin Young, and I mean you got plenty
David
of
Marshall.
depth. I don't think depth's an issue.
Depth's not the issue.
Will those guys? I mean, they haven't always performed in game. Now I say that they do perform. They're not always having the what's it havoc. They're
Right.
not always causing havoc in
Right.
the back. This is the first year. Pull up those stats and go to the.
You want the stats, Trent? Put
I
me on the spot
believe Georgia has 47 QB pressures already this year.
What stats do you want, boss?
I want those.
The ones that I pulled up earlier? The
Which one?
PFF grades? Or
Are
the
those
PFF?
grades?
No, they're the matchup between Georgia and Arkansas State. Is that
Yes,
what you want?
pull that up.
Okay, I can get you.
Pull that up.
But keep talking though. Don't lose people.
I believe that Georgia has. It's in the 40s. 40-something QB pressures. I think it's the. It's a go down.
Okay.
It is the.
You want the
down.
next one? No, you want one more.
Down.
That's what you want.
Keep going.
That's the defensive grades right there. Head-to-head grades. That's what you want. Right there.
I don't know if I have it on here, but oh yeah, right. 47. Georgia already has 47 QB pressures. 47.
I'm gonna pop this over on the screen so people can see it. What you're looking
Georgia's top 10 in the country, according to our top 15 Pro Football Focus, is of getting pressure on the quarterback.
Can we say those results are skewed though? Vanderbilt and Murray State.
I mean, you could.
I would edge on that side.
But you can also go back to last year and say the same thing. And Georgia did not put up numbers in big games. I mean, even in the small games. They put up better numbers in big games last year than at the beginning of the season.
So here's my hot take. Your best defensive lineman on your team is a true freshman. Trayvon Walker.
Highest ceiling. I wouldn't say best defensive lineman right now.
I think by the end of the year he's going to be your best defensive lineman.
I think Tyler Clark's your best defensive lineman.
Right now, Tyler Clark is. If
Tyler Clark looks back to his sophomore, the way he played as a sophomore.
Boy.
And I just think, I think if he performs the way he's been performing the first 2 weeks, and it could be skewed.
Sure.
But you still got to go out there and whoop your opponent. And the way that they've been whooping their opponent, I mean, Nolan Smith picked up offense tackle and put him on his back last week.
Yeah. I don't think this defensive line – let me take that back. At the beginning of the season, I thought this defensive line was going to struggle extremely hard against upper echelon SEC teams. I did not believe in this defensive line. I think you have a lot of pieces right now. As you can see on the screen right there, their PFF grades. Brent Rollins does a great job over at PFF, and you can check out all the grades over at UGAsports.com. UGAsports.com. Did you like that? But I was not convinced on this defensive line, Trent. Was not. You could not convince me that this defensive line was going to be able to go up against Alabama, Notre Dame potentially. I've seen a lot out of guys like Azeez Ojulari, Nolan Smith, Trayvon Walker, Tyler Clark, that makes me think they can hold their own. I like the cornerbacks. I like the defensive backs. I like the safeties, all that. I like the linebackers, how they've been playing. Sans a few of them. But I think if they continue to improve, they have a really good shot at being a very solid defensive line. And I think the biggest thing is you don't have to put 4 hands in the ground or 8 hands in the ground. You don't have to line up 4 guys on the ground, hands in the dirt type thing. You could have 2 guys in the middle, Tyler Clark and Jordan Davis, and have edge rushers for days. So you have a lot of different ways you can use this defense.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And I like the way the personnel groupings that they're putting on the field. If you get in 3rd and long, you're in trouble.
Yeah. 3rd and long against this team with Jermaine Johnson, Nolan Smith, Azeez, Tyler Clark is
Adam Anderson,
a nice pass rush up the middle. Jordan Davis holds his own.
And they're doing different stuff. You saw Adam Anderson drop into the flats and into coverage. You see, I believe Jermaine Johnson dropped back one time. I mean, they're doing different stuff with it, and that is the impressive part. Is you're putting all these athletes on the field, and you're dropping one back and sending a cornerback that they're not expecting to come.
Correct.
So
I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. I know we talked about the defensive line. Right there, the grades aren't looking too great for the defensive backs for Georgia. I'm not concerned, though. Are you?
No. I mean, look, if you go down a little bit on this page, and you'll see Eric Stokes has a grade of 60-something, but the kid has been targeted. He's allowed 4 receptions on 9 targets for 17 yards.
Yeah.
Tyson Kimball, I think he's allowed 2 receptions on 4 targets for 19 yards. If my starting 2 cornerbacks have allowed 36 yards in 2 games, I'm perfectly content with it.
Yeah.
0 touchdowns.
I think the big thing for Mark Webb last week obviously fell down in that touchdown. Right there you see Webb's allowed 7 receptions out of 8 targets, 110 yards, and a touchdown. I don't know if I hold that last touchdown against Murray State against him necessarily. I think he just tripped up. But if you want to place blame, I guess you can on Mark Webb on that one.
A big stat on the year, Richard LeCount, who suffered from a lot of missed tackles last year, has 0 this year through 2 games.
Really?
0 missed tackles.
It's interesting. That was a big part of his game that he needed to clean up.
Big part. And 0 missed tackles. And I just think he's played very well. He's broke down a lot better.
Yep.
He's not flying everywhere like you saw him last year or the previous 2 years. You see him still shooting into the backfield or to the edge or wherever he's attacking, but you always see him break down now a lot better than you have in the past.
Guys, just to remind you, you can call in 620-UGA-TALK. I don't want to berate you guys with that, but you can call in. I'm almost positive we have the audio working properly. I think we do, Trent. We tried it out before we got on. So please give us a call, guys. 620-UGA-TALK. 620-UGA-TALK. This is the last time I'm going to say it. If you guys want to call in, please do. We can get you on and talk to you. We'd love to have you. One quick thing right here before I go to our next voicemail, which is a little bit of recruiting. We'll switch gears, Trent. Look at this stat on the screen right now. 94.7, 91.1, 94.7, 90.4. Trey Hill with the 74.9 is the lowest lineman right now
Look,
for Georgia, man.
I'm gonna tell you what. What's more impressive out of these numbers that we're looking at? Jamari Salyer, 91.1, and he's a fill-in right tackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jamari,
Yeah.
right tackle. That right there is amazing. Ben Cleveland, if you scroll down just a tad, you'll see Andrew Thomas has a 93.7 run blocking grade.
Yeah, it's
almost
ridiculous.
perfect.
I can't find it. Where's it
Look
at?
right here?
Right here. Yep.
Solomon Kinley has a 94.1 run blocking grade. Ben Cleveland, 95.8 run blocking grade. You're almost perfect.
Yeah. You can't. I mean, there's.
I guarantee you scroll down and look at that bottom chart. They're the number one run blocking team in the country.
Yeah. Look at this, though. Before I get off of this, though, there is one guy on Arkansas State right here.
There's two. Both they're
there's
guard
two.
and defensive tackle.
There's actually really three right there.
That is their starting defensive line right there, and
Yeah.
they are really good. Could cause some issues, especially in the middle of that Georgia offense since Trey Hill has struggled a little bit. I do think Trey Hill needs to start playing a lot better, get a little bit more push.
But I mean, he's also starting for the first time at center.
He is, and I'm sure there's
a lot of things probably running through his mind pre-snap.
Communication.
Correct.
You're communicating with Fromm.
It's not just line up and hit somebody, you know.
You know, that's basically the center. I mean, basically the linebacker of the defense. He's.
And I think for him too, you know, it's only his second game at center starting this year. The lineage at UGA at center, you can't really like compare him to David Andrews or Ben Jones or Lamont Galliard. These are guys that are in the league, you know, like
He could get there.
Oh, I think he can too.
But you know, he just has to play. I think it's more of a quick thing when he's trying to snap, not getting his head up fast enough, losing that leverage that he could be gaining. You know, there's a lot of things that could go on with center position that could cause that just that slight hesitation not to get that initial push.
I do want to go ahead, Trent, and get this next voicemail in.
Trent, what are we going to do if Theo Johnson goes to Michigan and Arik Gilbert goes to Alabama? Who's going to be our second tight end now that didn't what's his face commit to Wisconsin, Cam Large or something? Who are we going to get as the second tight end?
Well, Trent?
I mean, that's a good question.
That is a great question. That is a great question.
You know, you haven't heard much about tight ends or any other tight ends, but I guess a name to watch if you did land Darnell Washington, a name to watch for that kind of H-back type guy would be Malik Carr.
I like him. I think he's a big guy. I don't think he's on a lot of people's radars right now on UJSports.com.
No, I mean, and he's got a top two of Georgia and Purdue. I think if Georgia pushed, Georgia can land him.
It's one of those top twos where it's you know, hey, well, I would love to have Georgia as my school, but Purdue's letting me commit right now.
We can't forget either. I mean, he is a team. Well, he was a teammate of Dwan Mathis. He is a teammate of Justin Rogers. So
true.
Georgia has some ties up there, and you never know. That could be your flex guy because I don't think you could, if you were landing Arik Gilbert and not the other two, you couldn't take. You'd have to get a line of scrimmage guy. But if you were landing Darnell Washington, you could afford to take a risk on a guy like that with I mean, 6'5", 225.
He's big.
He runs like a wide receiver, but you can split him out. I mean, how many times has Georgia actually been in a traditional tight end set? You see their tight ends flexed out all the time.
Yeah, Wolf was flexed out a lot.
I mean, there was one play the other day where James Cook was in the backfield, and I believe they were in the red zone. They had Wolf and Charlie Warner split out on the same side.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I said, oh, here comes they're going to run a little sweep right here to Cook, and they didn't. They threw the ball. So I mean, Georgia's not really lining up in that traditional tight end set, anyways.
A couple of other recruiting questions coming in, guys, and make sure you put your questions in the comments over here on YouTube or give us a call 620-UGA Talk. Austin Springer says, Trent, how high is the ceiling for Justin Robinson after seeing him in person? Justin Robinson, if you guys don't know, he's a 4-star committed to Georgia right now, wide receiver out of ELCA. That's Eagles Landing Christian Academy in McDonough, Georgia? McDonough. Yeah, McDonough.
If you country hit, you McDonough.
Yeah, McDonough.
I mean, anytime you got a 6'4.5", 6'5", 200-pound receiver with a 38-inch vertical, yeah, I mean, he's got some potential. I mean,
he's an athlete.
Oh, he's definitely. And the thing that I like him, he can high point the ball very well. He reminds me of Javon Wims, the way he can high point the ball.
Yeah,
he can run. I think he's got a very high ceiling. You know, he doesn't have to do much. He's basically done. I ended up getting there in the middle of the first quarter.
Yeah,
he was done by the end of the second quarter, and that's against Pace Academy.
Really?
They were up 40-0.
So another championship might be in the future for Elka. They've won a ton in the last 10 years. It would be a
big disappointment.
Yeah. A couple other questions. Kovacevic, I got it right. Says Nathan Presley a sleeper at QB, and do we have more 3-technique D linemen coming to Georgia? Huge area of need. So if you guys don't know who Nathan Presley is, he was a walk-on quarterback that Georgia was able to get right before signing day, or it might have been signing day. I don't remember. Or was it after signing day?
It was after signing day.
Yeah, it was late.
It was May.
I think. It was actually. It was. He could be a sleeper. If you're looking for another Stetson Bennett to where he's going to go off and play at a community college and come back home like the prodigal son, I don't think that's going to happen.
I think depending on what happens with Jake Fromm after this year, he very well could be on scholarship next year.
So, oh boy, Trent, here we go. So you're going to have 2 former walk-ons on scholarship with Dwayne Mathis and Carson Beck.
Where else are you going to go?
Oh boy, let's cross that bridge later on, Georgia fans, because that's going to be a bridge that I don't want to cross with you.
Priestley definitely looks the part.
Oh yeah, he looks
great.
Looks great.
He looked like just watching him throw is
sure.
He's smooth. Now, we have not seen him in a live setting where we could make that accurate assessment as far as what he can do on a college field. I don't know. I mean, he might be a kid like Johnny Manziel and come out and just ball, but hopefully not actions. But we'll see. If Georgia keeps winning like they are, I think you're gonna see more of him. At least in 4 games.
Apparently, Uncle Lou is pretty popular on Twitter because he said, "What about the wide receivers blocking grades?" And then 4 people said Lou's in the building. Wide receiver blocking grades, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Is that the guy with the glasses?
I don't know.
What's up, Lou?
Yeah, what's up, Lou? I don't know who that is, but apparently a lot of people do. So thanks for watching, my friend. The wide receiver blocking for me was fine. The first 2 games, they also really didn't have to go up against huge physical defensive backs like they might see against Notre Dame. I think it's going to be your first test for wide receiver blocking grades, just for the simple fact that you can go down the field and block somebody if they're going to be 40 pounds lighter than you. When you play guys that are your size, then we can maybe, start grading them.
What, wide receivers?
Yeah, blocking.
I mean, Georgia's always going to block at wide receivers. If you don't block, you ain't going to be on the field. So they're going to find somebody else that can do it. You have George Pickens and Landers who are on the field. There's not going to be guys that are the same size as those 2. So they're going to have that advantage of the one good thing I like seeing the other day, Demetrius Robertson out there blocking. That was he has really bought into the system.
Yeah.
And it's showing. I mean, he leads the team in touchdowns with 2, leads the teams in receiving yards. I think he's on the pace to have a big year.
Yeah. So apparently Uncle Lou has 23,000 followers. We might want to catch up. Uncle Lou, give us a call, man. 620-UGA Talk. Let's talk, big dog. Let's talk.
Hey, Uncle Lou, call me and let me know about what you think about Tennessee. I'd like to hear it.
Ooh. So we got a question right here. Says, what are we looking like at quarterback position in the next few years after Jake Fromm decides to leave? Big A, I think you asked that right when Trent and I were going back and forth on that. I don't know, my friend. I don't know. Some people like Carson Beck. Some people don't. Some people like Dwayne Mathis. Some people don't.
Dwayne.
Dwan, excuse me. It's tough, man, and it's going to be tough for every big college football program to keep the cupboard full of high talented quarterbacks, as you've very well seen in the last 2 to 3 years, losing Eason and Fields. Boy, I'm all over the place tonight. Losing Eason and Fields, it's difficult, man. I think we got a call, guys. Let's see if we can answer this bad boy. Where's it ringing at? That's a great question. There it is.
Call from.
Yes, Uncle Lou here.
To accept.
Hey, Uncle Lou, it's Paul and Trent. You're on the show. How's it going, boss?
Hey, yeah, it's going good. What an honor to be on with you guys. I'm usually banned from anything this official looking, but great show. I'm really enjoying the show here. I heard you ask about Tennessee. Man, what a disaster! Who would have saw this coming? Well, anybody that knew Jeremy Pruitt didn't have any business being a head coach.
Watch
anybody
out.
that shows up in Mark Richt's front yard on a Sunday afternoon looking to fight him, probably not a good candidate for head coach.
Yikes. That's right, Lou. That's right.
You got that right.
What else you got, Lou?
Yeah.
What else you got? So Tennessee going to win a game this year? Let's talk about that right quick.
Oh, yeah, they'll win this week, and I don't know. Once or twice like they did last year with the Auburn game, but
Yeah.
I think 4-8's about the ceiling probably for this year. I had them going. I thought they were going to get to a bowl game at 6-6. I really did in the off season, but I mean, I don't think anybody saw that Georgia State game. I mean, how much you hate Tennessee? That was a shock, I think. So I had to readjust after that. But yeah, they're pretty bad again.
Hey, Lou,
again this year.
Give me your thought. What record is Georgia going to have at the season's end this year?
Well, I think we'll be 12-0 in the regular season. I think we're lucky to get Texas A&M at home. Plus, they lost their running back.
Very true.
I mean, Kellen Mond, it's weird. I mean, he's got a ton of experience, so you would think like the guy would never get rattled or anything. But you watch him play, even last year, he looks like one of the best quarterbacks in America one week, and then the next week is like at Clemson, he looked like he'd never seen a football before. And that's not. I mean, he's been doing that his entire time in college. He's just real inconsistent. So
Right.
hopefully, when he shows up in Athens, he's having one of his off days, because really they sort of remind me of Ole Miss back in Kirby's first year, 2016. Remember, we went out to Ole Miss and all their wide receivers were 6'5", and I mean, we
I
just
was
got
there.
burned.
Yeah, I was
now,
there.
I mean, we're way better. We're way better now, obviously, than we were then. But they sort of remind me of that kind of a team. Not really a great elite team, but they've got some certain players in certain positions where if you can't match up well, they can hurt you.
Yep.
But I think we luck out getting them at home, obviously, with our record on the road against the West lately. But
They're that team.
I
They're
think
that
we'll
team
win
that if you ever catch them clicking at the right time, that they're going to be tough to beat for sure.
Yeah, I think Kellen Mond, the way that one rollout he had in the first game where he threw that touchdown pass looked like an NFL throw, Lou.
Yeah, and sometimes you watch him and he looks that way. And I mean, they have one of the most ridiculous schedules in America. But like before the season, I said I could see him beating one of those. You know, either maybe one of the four out of Clemson, Georgia, Bama, and LSU. Actually picked them to beat Bama because they get them at home. But if they play like they did against Clemson, they'll get run out of the building. But
Yeah.
I could see them winning one of those four. They're good enough on a given day, I think, to compete with almost anybody, but they're just way too inconsistent, especially Kellen Mond.
Lou, are you excited about this Arkansas State game, brother? You waking up, you going to tailgate and do the whole thing for this one?
No, I have to hang out in my mom's garage all day on game day so I can provide to people with the updates and yell into the camera multiple times. So, no, not able to make it. I think I'm going to try to go to – I go to about one game a year. Last I went to Auburn game. I'm going to try to go to Texas A&M. I'm too old to go to these noon games, 98 degrees. No, thank you. I wouldn't last.
Hey,
I'm getting too old for that.
Well, let's try to keep it G-rated this weekend. You know, there shouldn't be a lot of cuss words dropped against Arkansas State.
No, it should be good if we can get maybe Fromm will have 14 pass attempts this week instead of 11, and I can calm down a little bit.
I know who this guy is now. I know who this guy is now.
I do feel like, I do feel like we're wasting a little bit of opportunities, and I felt this way last year too in some of these blowouts. And I think it's even worse this year. Like, these wide receivers are talented, but I mean, let's not pretend. I mean, we have one wide receiver on our team who's ever caught a meaningful pass at Georgia coming into this season. I don't know. It sure would be nice to get those guys some more reps in some of these early blowout games. instead of waiting
it definitely
until
would.
we have to do it.
I think one thing they're going to play it 100% safe with Jake Fromm this year, just for a simple fact that you saw what was behind him. I thought he struggled a little bit. What's the name? Stetson. I thought Stetson struggled a little bit, but so you're going to see Fromm. Anytime you got a 4-touchdown lead in the first half, Fromm's going to be out.
I think you have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
You cannot. The season's over. I mean, it might not be over.
No, it's over.
But it is.
It's over.
It is. You can't go undefeated without Jake Fromm.
No.
Yeah, if he goes down, you can forget about winning anything after the calendar hits December.
But I do agree that
for sure
these type of games against Arkansas State, type of games against Tennessee, it looks like you have a chance to work on that passing game. And I thought they did a little bit better stretching the field and doing little different things last week. But I think this is another opportunity to get the passing game going early. And I said, it's only going to back Notre Dame's front seven out of the box a little bit come next Saturday night.
Hey, Lou.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question for you.
Okay.
If Fromm goes down, because I know we've been talking about this for the past few minutes here, are you confident enough in Stetson Bennett being able to step up against Auburn?
No, 0 chance.
But okay,
no,
now you answered that. Let me get you one more question. How confident are you that Georgia's run game, which we've talked about already, which is looking unbelievable, could carry Stetson Bennett to like a SEC championship?
It's confident as I was when we played them there in 2017.
Fair. So, couple questions.
Stetson Bennett's just not the answer. I mean, I get it if it's a good story. Nobody wanted him, so we let him walk on. Then he gets mad and quits because Lou. These are his words. These are his words, not mine.
I know.
He said, I love Georgia, but I didn't come here to ride the bench. I'm out.
Yep.
Those were his exact words.
Yep.
He left. He goes to JUCO. He throws the most interceptions in America. Justin Fields leaves. We look around and go, we got Jake Fromm and nobody else. So we beg him to come back and give him a scholar, but he's not the answer. He's a turnover machine, and he's just not a Division I quarterback. So, I mean, if he goes down, it's just over.
I think they ran into some bad luck with the Dwan Mathis situation.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't think he would have been ready this year anyway, though.
But he probably has he's more of the caliber athlete that could go out there and help that run game because he could do the read option and stuff like that. He could bring a different kind of dimension to the offense. Now, I'm not saying he's the answer passing the ball because I've honestly never seen him throw a live college pass. But that just eliminated one more guy that could have that opportunity if Fromm went down.
What do y'all think about? And I know this is all speculation, but I mean that's what we do. So
that's it.
But
man.
what do you think Fromm's decision is purely based on draft stock, or do you think it's a combination of that and how this year ends, or what's your just overall opinion on that?
So are you saying
him staying or going?
So are you saying if he wins a natty?
Yeah, like do you think that will play into the decision, or do you think it's just going to be everyone says I'm a top 10 pick, I'm leaving regardless of what happens? Or do you think if we get close again, that might have something to do with him coming back? Or just what do y'all think about it? What's going to happen?
I'll take this first, Trent. I would think and I would hope for Georgia fans that if they don't get there, he's looking at it like, well, next year, I mean, if I leave, this team is, 8-4, 9-3 maybe. I can stay and really make this thing special. I've got George Pickens now in his second year. I've got Zeus. I've got, you can name the guys in the running back room. Some true freshmen coming in. We could really make this thing special. But you also have to think, hey, I'm going to be losing my left tackle, potentially be losing Isaiah Wilson if he does good enough. Yes and no. I think that if he has just a killer season statistically, I think it's going to really depend on how much hype he gets. Because he could go through the season undefeated, throw 30 touchdowns, and nobody's really talking about him. They're talking about Justin Herbert up at Oregon, or they're talking about Tua, guys like that. They're talking about Trevor Lawrence, how they want to, shave a year off of his life or up on his life so he can come out in the draft and be the number one pick, or how he could be, yada, yada, yada. I think it's really going to depend how much hype he gets. And right now, I think he's flying under the radar. And it happens every year around this time, there's a quarterback that those guys start falling in love with. Is it going to be Jake Fromm? Is it going to be Justin Herbert? There's always a guy where they start falling in love with. And you've seen it. Yeah. I've seen it. It depends on if he's that guy. If he's not that guy, I could see him sticking around, Trent.
Well, I mean, you got to think everybody's already in love with Tua, so he's the first. He's the first guy off the board, or him
Potentially, but they like that Herbert kid too.
Yeah,
I mean, and then there's always a guy that pops up randomly.
Look, I don't think Jake Fromm's in a hurry to leave the University of Georgia. I think if the situation is right at the time, and he submits for his draft grade, and he gets a
He's
top
gonna
10
get
pick,
he's gonna get a first round grade.
If he got like a top 10, top 5 pick, yeah, he's gone. But I don't think he's in a rush necessarily to leave. He enjoys college life. He don't necessarily. And I mean, he's not going out there trying to get a paycheck and pay for his family. So he's not. I don't think he's in a rush to leave. I think he enjoys what's going on in college. I think he loves his playmakers around him now. Now I think DeAndre Swift is a different story. I think he is.
Swift's gone. Thomas is gone.
Swift's
no matter
gone,
what.
Hands down, DeAndre Swift's gone.
Yeah.
But
Andrew Thomas is out too.
Andrew Thomas is out the door too. But Jake Fromm, I don't think he's in a hurry. I think that will be a late decision, probably late December decision before that is even considered.
Hey Lou, real quick before we let you go and we hop off of here, can we get you back on next week?
Yeah, sure.
And what about a little shout out over there on Uncle Lou's page, man? Help us out with we're trying to grow our YouTube over here. We've been doing really good. We're not at 23K, but we could do a little swap A, whatever. We shout you out.
I got you. I have a live show tonight at 10. I'll hook you guys up.
Nice, man. Appreciate it, brother. And Lou, we're gonna go ahead and get you out of here. Anything you want to say to you got some loyal fans, dude? Because at first, I mean, I'm trying to run a show, man. You know what I'm saying? And somebody comes in here and folks are like, "Oh, Lou's in the building." I'm like, "Who the hell is Lou?" Like I'm like, "Uncle Lou, who is this?" And then Trent's like, Trent. It clicked with Trent, and then it clicked with me later on. So man, congrats on the follows, man. Anything else you want to say to these loyal listeners out here, man?
Yeah. Hope we don't meet Ohio State in the playoffs and lose.
Oh, boy.
Doomsday scenario. Thanks for having me on. You guys have a great evening.
Take it easy, brother. Dude, he's right, though, man, because Fields is going to drop 50 touchdowns this year. You want to talk about a guy that went to the right spot, because Dwayne Haskins put up a ton of numbers last year, and he had zero mobility. Right. Fields has like 50 times more mobility.
And if people recall me saying this, they do. I said on UGA Sports as soon as it came out that he was going to Ohio State that he would be a top 5 Heisman candidate this year.
Yeah.
Or at the end of the season, he will be in New York.
Him and Jalen Hurts and Tua? Probably the 3. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and hop off of here, man. We really appreciate Lou calling in. We appreciate all the questions coming in the chat, guys. We're trying to build this up as much as we can. And as you've seen, it's been building week by week. I think next week for the Notre Dame game, it's going to be really big. Guys, you can call in 620-UGA-TALK. We always like to talk to you. That was our first time calling, and it was with Lou, and it worked. I was more excited about that until I realized who it was, and I was like, oh, man, it's Lou. So
Uncle Lou, man.
Yeah, Uncle Lou, man. Everybody's saying, they're seeing him at 10 p.m. tonight. And I will definitely be tuning in and watching him. Appreciate him coming on here. Guys, if you have any questions that you want to answer but you don't want to get on and talk with us live like Lou did, give us a call, 620-UGA-TALK. You can call us, after the game, drunk, man. Give us a call. Let us know your thoughts. We'll play the voicemail on here.
If it's appropriate.
Yeah, don't get crazy. Okay, it's a family-friendly show here. But we want to get you guys on here as much as possible, so thanks again, guys. Thanks again to Lou jumping on with us. We're going to try to log off of here. I think my wife just texted me, said dinner's ready. Trent, you smell that?
I don't smell nothing.
Man, it smells good. It smells like dinner, brother. We'll holler at you guys later.
See y'all.